And now, it's time for Things That Happened This Week. Brought to you by opening up Twitter and seeing that something has happened, and then going on your podcast and telling people about how you feel about that thing that happened. That is right, it's time for a slightly shorter edition of Things That Happened This Week in Film, because unintentionally I rambled on a little bit too long on this podcast. It's gone on a little bit too long. Don't want to keep you too long. So we're going to touch on a couple of things that happened this week, well, the last couple of weeks in film that I thought were interesting that I want to chat about. We'll pick up on some more next week when I got a bit more time. But there's a couple of... The main thing I want to talk about, right? Did you see this? There's a controversy around First Man, which, if you didn't know, is the new film from Damien Chazelle, starring Ryan Gosling, about the moon landings, about Neil Armstrong landing on the moon, first American dude on the moon. Cool. Right, this is one of the things. If at the beginning of the year people were like, right, guess, like, put money on what films you think are going to like cause the most controversy, and at no point would First Man have ever even come close to my mind, anywhere near my thought process. It looked like it was just going to be cool. Another Damien Chazelle. Some people might not like it. A lot of people probably will. It's going to get some awards stuff because it's Damien Chazelle. Ryan Gosling's great. Cool. It looks... you kind of predict that this film's going to go down how you think. And then suddenly out of nowhere, like fucking clockwork. Oh, man. Like fucking... Like a warm sunrise. You open your windows. Oh, a lovely breeze rolls in. Nothing can go wrong today. Well, fucking, there are people angry, because people are angry about the American flag not being in this film. People are angry about the American flag not being shown being planted into the moon base in this film, right? Now, I'm not going to generalize and say, look, right-wing people have said this, but, they are right-wing, but some people have been like, this is a fucking outrage. I demand to see the American flag being planted in the moon's surface. I gotta see it in the film. Otherwise, it means you're not validating American success. Dude, what the fuck? What is wrong with people? Like, I'm sorry to get angry, alright? But some things you just like, there is literally no point in controversy here. Sometimes something controversial happens and you're like, I don't agree with it, but I can see how the seeds are sown there for someone to be angry. How are you angry? But firstly, the film hasn't even come out yet, so these people haven't even seen it. Basically, it turns out there isn't a shot of the American flag being planted in the moon. But there are shots of the American flag. But some people go, no, this film has to show a shot of the American flag being planted, because that means that it proves that it was an American. This is funded by Americans. America, fuck yeah. And you're like, dude, fucking chill out. History has happened, right? A film that came out in 2018 about the moon landing not showing the American flag going, it doesn't change. Do people think it doesn't change shit? It changes nothing, right? It still happened. The flag was still planted in the moon. If that's what you're angry about, are you worried that suddenly you're going to, next time you go up to the moon, you're going to check, I'm sorry guys, I'm just going to hop off the spaceship and get on the moon here and just double check that we still got the American, what? It's goddamn changed into a Russian flag. What are these people scared of? Going up to the moon and seeing that it's changed to a Russian flag and going, I know what did this. Damien! Oh my... It's a film. End of that one, you fucking idiots. Let's see some... What was the other... Some other new movie stuff that happened literally today, so maybe it is a good thing that I delayed this podcast, because now I can talk about this. We got some first look images at Brie Larson as Captain Marvel in the upcoming Captain Marvel film from Marvel. And she looks great. It's quite quick. Well, not a lot to talk about here. She looks great. Looks badass in that costume. Couple of returning characters from, what is her name? The dude that Lee Pace played in Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what? It's still so sad. You'd think you'd get bored of it, but in Marvel films, it's still so satisfying when you see a character pop up from another one and you're like, cool, you're in the other one. You're in the other Marvel film. It's still satisfying. So a couple of pictures have got those people in. The Krees, I think. And you're like, cool, you're in Guardians. That satisfied me. But it looks good. Looks strong. Obviously interested to see how she ties in. She's going to be something big about how they stop Thanos, I'm sure. Very excited for it. There's not a huge... you know what? look at the pictures yourself. There's not a huge amount to say other than she looks like Captain Marvel. And that is what we expected. But obviously the internet's going, whoa, Captain Marvel, man. Yeah, cool. She looks good. I'm excited. Count me the fuck in. And then let's squeeze one more little ditty of things that happened this week. Some more news that happened this week. Did you see how fucking badass Keanu Reeves looked filming John Wick 3? Right, John Wick and John Wick 2 are some of the most badass films for a long time. They've got their flaws, but one of the flaws is not that it's not badass enough, because fuck me, I fight anyone that doesn't think Keanu Reeves is badass as shit as John Wick. So they're filming John Wick 3, the third chapter, which you might go, that's gone on longer than it ever should have. To which I'd say, no, Keanu Reeves as an assassin fucking destroying people the way that he does in John Wick can never go on too long. I'm here for it. And they just dropped some pictures from the filming that only confirm this. Because that motherfucker's on horseback, riding alongside someone on a motorcycle, shooting a gun at him. And honestly, this film doesn't need to release anything else. We do not need a trailer for John Wick 3 because we have had this picture of Keanu Reeves riding a horse, killing someone on a motorbike. I will sit down and watch that film. I will sit down and watch that film for however much money you want, just for that. Like, it could be 2 hours of Keanu Reeves like learning to ride a horse, like the most dull, mundane thing. Like, cool, this is your pony. Now what you want to do is saddle up here, and Keanu Reeves is like, okay, for 2 hours, and you're like, oh, this is a bit dull. It would all be worth it if you got 5 minutes at the end of this of him riding next to someone on a motorbike shooting them. God, how is that not the most badass thing ever? So that happened this week, and I was like, shit, man, that looks good. Cannot wait for John Wick 3. It might be shit. Look, it does feel a little bit like they're set. Like, at the end of the way, the way this second one ended, it makes me feel a little bit worried that they might be doing a little bit too much with it, and it might go too over the top. But then you see something like this, and you're like, nah, man, it's going to be fine. It is going to be fine. I cannot wait. What's next? Like, this is like, usually like production images getting leaked, and they like progressively get a little bit more kind of interesting, exciting as you go on closer to the film scene. Immediately, the first thing that gets leaked, riding a horse, shooting someone on a motorbike. Where does it go from here? I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see how they top it. Elephant? Riding a fucking elephant? Riding a horse that is riding another horse. Do it. Do it, Keanu. Fucking do it. I don't know how to wrap this one up. That's the couple of things that happened in the last couple. There's so much more stuff that happened this last couple of weeks in film that I could be talking about, but I don't want this to go on for years. So we're going to wrap it up there. That was things that happened this week in film.
Things that happened this week. Brought to you by opening up Twitter and seeing that something has happened, and then going on your podcast and telling people about how you feel about that thing that happened.